boat?
Sorry, what?
You have this boat for me so I can see the comments?
You do realize we're live, right?
Yes. This is why I'm not swearing. Haha, kidding. Is this installed so I can see the comments from everywhere?
I didn't set it up. You can go ahead and open it and see.
Well, I think it's too late. Maybe next.
Maybe next time.
Maybe
All right.
next time.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live, and
I don't
obviously as incompetent as ever. Oh, can you move this light over here a little bit? The least professional show on YouTube. No, not that one. This. I don't want your light moved. I want my light because there's a shadow. Yeah, just to the side. Thank you so much. You're amazing, darling. Yep, it's good. It's good. Oh, that's why it was so bright before I lowered the brightness on the camera. How foolish of me. Hey, Mark in Alberta. Always good to see you. We're going to have to go to Alberta and, have tea. This guy's always watching our show.
1 second. I'm opening.
1 second. You're opening what?
The
comments.
Chat,
Oh,
yeah.
the comments, right. All right, well, we're biding our time here while people fill up the room, all 10 of you or whatever. I should probably market this. I forgot to do that. So let me go to YouTube.
Did you turn off the echo?
I don't know. Are people complaining about an echo?
Not yet. Can you check?
Not yet. No, there shouldn't be an echo. There should not be an echo this time. The reason there was an echo before was because I had a mic on that I shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I had your camera mic on. And then the time it was muted is because I had set up hotkeys and I accidentally pressed the mute button like a fool. But now that we're live, let's see, we should have a live video here that I can... Yep, no, that's not what I meant to do. All right, then I can grab a shareable link. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my own Mr. Reagan channel. And then I'm going to go ahead and market this
Can
video.
you hear the cat, guys?
Yeah, the cat is meowing like crazy, but I set up the mics in such a way that hopefully you won't hear the cat anymore. If it's locked away in the
Well, I
bathroom.
can hear him.
You can hear him, of course, but I set up the mics in a way where other people should not be able to hear him. So anyway, Valeria has had a terrible time at work. She's got a bully she's dealing with. And this guy is a COVID enforcement agent.
Enforcement agent. I think it's
What is his actual title?
COVID supervisor.
Douche,
or
I believe.
Complaint officer. Which is exactly what they do, complaining. Compliant. Sorry.
Compliance
I thought they're complain from the word complain.
I love it. Yeah, so anyway, so she's having a crappy time at work, but then her work called her today and they said, hey, would you like to work on that same show again? And she said, yes. Please.
What's the time I have to be there? 5:36 a.m. I was like, nice. No
Perfect.
traffic.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, actually, I should move that light so that it doesn't. Or you should move the microphone so that it doesn't create a shadow. So lean to your. Yeah, there you go. See, there's a shadow.
So
there?
I can't be like here. I have to be like this.
Or what you do is you just move the microphone over.
I can stay like this.
You will forget.
I won't.
She's a pro, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well, welcome to the show. She's toxic. I'm masculine, or I'm toxic. She's masculine. One of the two. We haven't figured that out yet. And together we are toxic masculinity. So, my God, that's the cheesiest thing we've ever done. When you were getting it wrong, it was actually better. Okay, so on this show, if you haven't watched before, which I'm sure you all have, but let's. We just cover the news of the day. We talk about the news of the day.
We do seven topics.
Are we doing 7?
Are we doing 7? You said 7.
We gotta go through these fast.
Okay.
We also mock each other a little bit, you know.
A little bit.
We're married.
A lot.
We're married, so we're allowed to ridicule each other viciously. And I think she's better at it than I am. What do you think?
You mean you ridicule?
I think you're better at mocking me than I'm.
Oh, for sure.
Look at the excitement on her face. Look at the excitement on her cute little innocent face. She's like Chucky. She looks sweet and cuddly when you first buy
Managed
it.
to perfectly sound cancel the cat.
See?
This
You
is a
canceled.
cancel culture right here.
That's right.
On
You,
the
you
show.
canceled, Aston. Boom. All right. Well, I guess we should just get into it, shall we? Unless
Oh,
we have any
22
other.
people. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
22 people. Good God.
22.
It's like a tsunami of people.
Can you imagine 22 people? If you think there is like few people watching you or liking your Instagram page, just imagine them being in your room. Like 22 people, that's a lot.
That would actually be quite a few people if we had them here in the apartment.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's pretend it's 22,000.
2200. Enough.
All right. Well,
Okay.
anyway, we're
First
still
one.
a fleggling channel. We're still trying to build an audience, so bear with us, folks. We'll get there. All right. So, shall we get into the first story, Donna?
Okay. First
Alright.
story. FBI denies Antifa involvement, Capitol siege.
Right. So the FBI
Like
apparently
a month later.
is saying here that in
Not a month
fact
later, like 2 months
Antifa
later.
was not involved in the Capitol siege.
No.
But and look, maybe that's right. I don't know. It looks like they've looked into it and they think that's true. I hate to ask you what you think about it because I think I know what I'm going to hear. What do you think, Valeria? Do you think that the FBI is telling the truth? Look at that.
I don't
thought.
think
Look
so.
at that thinking. Look at that thinking face.
Too
You don't
late.
think so? You don't think so? Any good reason why you don't think so?
Have they ever tell us the truth?
Well, that was going to be my point. So,
That was gonna be my point.
yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, at the end of the day, look, I'm more prone to believe people than not to believe people. But at this point, with the FBI, it's
Wow.
very difficult to accept. What?
268 people watching us on Facebook.
Oh wow, that's why I want you to get that other thing, that chat. Can
You
you
just set it
try to
up.
set up that chat thing, that other chat thing? We'll see
Okay.
if that works. So yeah, so oh wait, hold on. Stream chat, read only, stream chat.
I'm
Okay.
trying.
Well,
I'm
anyway,
trying.
whatever. So when it comes to like what happened with James Comey, right, and Peter Strzok and John Brennan and all those guys, basically setting up Donald Trump, trying to spy on Donald Trump, and then lying about it all that time. I mean, the FBI and the CIA, they're trained to lie. They're trained liars. So this idea that, and we know that they are sort of, you know, they have in the past tried to help out Democrats and try to hurt Republicans. So this idea that they would just deny the idea that Antifa was involved in any way whatsoever. So here's the thing about this that I think is troubling. Antifa may not have been involved in the sense that Antifa isn't a group like, you know, say like, you know, the Ku Klux Klan or something like this. They're not an organized group. So you can have people who are associated with Antifa that aren't actually working on behalf of Antifa. They're working on behalf of, say, Nancy Pelosi, something like that. You know, or they might not be Antifa at all. They might just be left-wing operatives. So you can have an infiltration of people who are trying to create a false flag, who are not necessarily part of the Antifa group officially, or they're not acting in that capacity. But anyway, let's read what this report says anyway. FBI Director Reid, no apparent Antifa involvement in January 6th attack. Those who have been arrested for their involvement in the deadly melee, they're calling it deadly. There's nothing deadly about it. And it wasn't a melee. That's ridiculous. So far are, quote, white supremacists and members of far-right extremist groups, the Director Reid told Congress. That's white supremacist, and come on, that's just not true. I mean, there are some probably white supremacists that were there. But it's not like, the way that this is written, it's as if they are all white supremacists or they're all part of far right groups. I don't think that's true. Let's see here. The FBI has found no evidence so far of far left-wing groups such as, say, Antifa. Well, we know there was one guy who was far left Antifa for sure. That black guy, I can't remember his name. Such as Antifa participated in the violent mob of President Donald Trump's the violent mob of President Donald Trump supporters. That's a weird way of putting that. Whoever wrote this is not a good writer. Paul D. Shinkman. Where the hell did you learn to write? That's ridiculous. And the violent mob of President Donald Trump supporters who attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Despite persistent conspiracy theories, the Bureau's director said on Tuesday, adding that racially motivated violent extremists, in other words, white supremacists, and members of militant groups such as the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers represent the preponderance of people arrested. And look, that might be true. That might be true. But just because those are the preponderance of people arrested, that doesn't mean that's the preponderance of people involved. You can know that there are people involved that you don't want to arrest because they are somehow like. I'm not actually convinced that this whole thing was a setup, or that there were a lot of people, like a lot of Antifa people, involved in actually causing.
There was both sides: Trump supporters, white supremacists. Which
I only know for sure of one Antifa guy that was there. He's very famously
I saw
there.
a comment before. Somebody said, like from our previous episode, somebody said if there was like hardcore rednecks, they would come with guns to take over the capital.
So
So
that's why you're
there's
thinking that there's no way, because nobody had guns there. They weren't like hardcore militant.
Yeah, interesting comment on Facebook. Now I'm monitoring both.
Oh, you were
Facebook
able to get the thing open.
No, I didn't, because I have to log in every. I'm just have to. Well,
all right,
it's
good
complicated.
Job,
okay,
good job,
we will improve it next time. So Eric Wade says the FBI and CIA do not work for the American people. They never have.
Well, I don't know if that's true. I think sometimes in the past there have been times in which they have been a little bit more helpful, and other times there have been a little bit more in some other kind of interest. But by the way, the shadow's hitting your face again. What did I tell you? You were going to forget. I
Darling,
told
you're
you.
always
I
right.
win.
Always right.
I am always right. Okay. So let's see here. We're equal opportunity in looking for violent extremists of any ideology, FBI Director Christopher Wray told the Senate Judiciary Committee. You know, it's funny. There's this thing I learned about magicians. There's a magician that said this once. I don't remember who, but he said, anytime a magician says, look, magicians use sleight of hand, magicians use misdirection, magicians use mirrors. Okay, I'm telling you now, for this trick, I am not going to use any of these things. They're using those things. He's like, that's how you know they're using those, because a magician will set up, as a way of deceiving people, this expectation of purity and cleanness, and like saying I'm not using misdirection is a good way to misdirect people from what you're doing. So, like this idea that an agency that's trained to lie to people is out here telling us this is what we're doing. We're totally neutral. We would never have a bias. I mean, you can pretty much expect that they have a bias and that they're not neutral. Because he's saying we're equal opportunity, looking for violent extremism of any ideology, that indicates to me that they're not. Why would you say that? If I'm not like, because I don't think he's been accused this far of having a biased ideology, looking specifically for conservatives and not looking for leftists. I don't think that he's been accused of that. If you're accused of being a racist, you'll probably say, what the hell are you talking about? I'm not racist. But if you don't just walk into a room with a bunch of, different mixed race people and go, hey, everybody, just to be clear, not racist. You don't start with that, right? You wait until somebody accuses you of it, then you go, what the hell are you talking about? Like, then you defend yourself. So this idea that that these people are they're not biased, and that they're coming out and going, guys, we're not biased, before even being accused of it, indicates to me that they're biased. All right. Told the Senate Judiciary Committee on Tuesday morning that the Bureau's investigation, Bureau's investigation since the deadly violence at the U.S. Capitol. Stop calling it deadly. They keep calling it deadly. Did they not hear that the fire extinguisher thing was a hoax, or was like fake reporting?
Well, the woman was shot.
Okay, but saying that it's deadly suggests that the reason that people died was because those storming the Capitol killed people. That's not what happened. People stormed the Capitol and then police shot somebody. It's not what you would call a deadly riot. That's what you would call a riot in which rioters were unjustly shot.
Which wasn't a riot. I wouldn't call it.
No, it wasn't a deadly riot. We're not Antifa, guys. Does that mean we're not looking? Okay, that does not mean we're not looking, and we'll continue to look, Ray said. I do not trust Christopher Wray at all. And you know why I don't trust him? I don't trust him because Biden kept him on. If this guy was like a neutral guy, if he was like a reasonable person, Biden would have fired him and brought in a leftist. The fact that he's kept him in his position indicates to me that this guy is no friend of conservatives. But anyway, they're saying that they've done this thorough investigation and no Antifa has been found. Look, I'm going to finish with this. I do think it's possible that the people who stormed the Capitol were more or less exclusively conservatives. We know that there was one Antifa guy. I'm sure there were more people.
I don't think there is one. I think there's many more. Antifa.
There was this one guy, I forget his name, and he had like a photographer with her who had worked with CNN and stuff like that. And they went in to report on it and stuff. And and people are saying like he was somebody who helped to agitate the Trump people and stuff like that, and that was all kind of the plan. Look, that may be true. If Christopher Wray's lying, then that's true. But I actually do keep an open mind of the possibility that these were just frustrated Trump supporters who believed that the election was stolen and felt like they needed to do something somewhat dramatic to get the attention of Congress. Because I actually think that that's okay. I actually think that's something they should have done. And the fact that some girl got killed because of it is ridiculous. If you watch most of the footage of the people at the Capitol, they were casually walking through the Capitol. They weren't doing anything. They weren't doing any damage. There were a few kind of more vicious people. I did see some footage of somebody with a bullhorn yelling into a room at the Capitol, telling them what the different places were, how to get in and stuff like that. And all those people seemed like they were Antifa. They did not seem to be conservatives. So I don't know. That definitely those people weren't conservatives. Those are definitely left wing. And you saw a lot of people at the Capitol saying there are leftists here. There are there's Antifa here. There's Antifa here. And the thing I think that is the most telling is that there was no counter protest. There was no official Antifa there officially counter protesting what was going on. So to me, that's a huge indication that somebody was told stand down. Stand down. I think that Antifa, Black Lives Matter people were told to stand down. Oh, and it's possible that some of them were in there causing trouble, and that Christopher Wray is just intentionally not finding evidence of them for whatever reason. I think that's a possibility. I don't think it's necessarily true, but I think it's possibly true.
Well, I think there were way more Antifa people than you think.
Well, I'm not saying that there weren't. I'm just saying I don't know one way or the other.
Okay.
I don't have evidence to say one way or the other, but I do suspect it's very possible that there were a lot more Antifa there than are being reported by Christopher Wray here. I think and if there were, I think he probably knows that there were, and he's lying. I don't trust him. All right, guys. We're going on to the next story.
Okay.
Let's go, Valeria. What do we got?
41 days into his term, and Biden still hasn't held a solo press conference.
Yeah, so...
Well, he did some live streams on YouTube, which was like 600 people watching him.
Was
I
it
think.
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, okay, so
like Trump CPAC speech, 3 million views in one day, and Trump's live stream like 100,000 views in a week.
Yeah.
Something like this.
All right, so let's have a look at this. Okay, so let's just read this story. Biden, 41 days into term, still hasn't held a solo press conference. I think this is just funny.
He's not capable.
I wrote a tweet the other day, and I just wrote, where's Joe Biden? You know how they have this thing, where's Hunter? I'm like, where's Joe?
I know where he is.
Where is he?
Do you remember that article that CNN said? I think it was CNN. That Biden go to sleep early and like watching fireplace.
All right, let's keep reading here. It's 41 days and counting since President Biden entered the White House, but he has yet to hold a solo news conference. Biden has talked to reporters briefly before boarding the presidential aircraft and taking questions from some reporters that when he made statements about the coronavirus and other matters, and his administration has also resumed the daily
naked Emily Ratajkowski.
Oh, pregnant. Fully, yeah.
That's probably YouTube is probably gonna
Sorry,
restrict
this is New York
speech.
Post. This is New York Post. I can't. I'm not responsible. Actually, I really like Emily Ratajkowski. Kowski, whatever her last name is, because she's sort of become a bit red-pilled. So fantastic, Emily. If Valeria ever leaves me, call me.
Pregnant and barefoot.
I wrote a tweet today. What was I? Oh, frick, I forgot to tell it. That was going to be my opening thing. Let's see here. It's my joke of the day, guys. You ready? Ready for this? This is pure genius, pure gold. Just wait for it. I wrote, feminists are crazy. No man wants his wife slaving away in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant. Don't be ridiculous. We want you in high heels. That was my joke for the day.
Yeah, I heard this before, so that's why I'm not
Not barefoot and pregnant. High heels and lingerie.
Lingerie.
And not pregnant, necessarily.
Well, how the Biden,
Yes.
supposed to hold press conference if his own press secretary
Yeah.
can answer questions?
Yeah.
The only thing she can do is circle back. What Biden will say?
Circle back, Psaki. Yeah, I mean, we all know that he is inept. He's incompetent. He can't function as the president. And the really weird thing about that was that, we said that when he was running. And Democrats all said, what are you talking about? He's amazing. He's perfect. It's brilliant. Oh, I forgot to do the show. I forgot to do the intro. Okay, I'll do the intro now. You ready, guys? Ready? Ready for the intro, guys? Hold on. Toxic masculinity. Oh, yeah. You see that? I should have done that at the beginning of the show. Sorry. Messed up, guys. Messed up. All right. So, let's get back to this story. We all knew he was incompetent before he was elected, and Democrats were like, I think at one point Kamala Harris was talking about how good he is at debating, and she was like, he's just so good. He's just so good. And I'm like, that is the most obvious lie I've ever heard in my life. He's not even trying. All right, let's see here. Biden's talking to reporters, blah, 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 but he's yet to face reporters alone. The lack of press conference is in stark contrast to his predecessors from former Barack Obama, held 20 days after he was inaugurated, and former President Donald Trump took questions 27 days in. And also, Donald Trump basically just spoke to the public every single day, all day, and, did all kinds of impromptu press conferences and all kinds of stuff like that. The lack of a solo presser comes despite a flurry of executive actions Biden has taken since January 20. Look, it's much worse than this article is making it seem. This article is making it seem like, oh, here's Biden with the halo. They love to take these pictures with Biden with this presidential seal behind him because it makes him look
Not
like
just Biden. I think like Obama too.
Yeah, but Biden's worse. They seem to be doing this a lot, where they're like,
Well,
let's get Biden with this halo around him like he's a saint or something. So
Chris, you actually had an intro in the beginning.
Huh?
You had an intro in the beginning, just so you know.
Did I?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Elena, he doesn't believe you.
Yeah, she's wrong. Don't interrupt me with lies. Fake news. But anyway, sorry, I'm getting off topic. It's much worse than this, just he's not taking a solo press conference. The horrible thing about all this is that he's not even really out and about at all. He's not communicating at all.
That's what I actually wanted to say. He's not going anywhere.
He's not going. I haven't really seen many group press conferences. There's been like a couple of things. He's come out and talked a little bit. But it's not like he's on the news much. He's not on the news much.
He can say, this moment he can say, oh, there is still COVID, even though I get the vaccine and whatever, I'm old. And he can say, COVID, I can't, group of people, dangers and stuff like this. But what is he going to say in 2 years, 3 years? I don't think he's going to be alive there. Sorry.
You think okay, this is breaking news, guys. Valeria thinks Biden will die in the next 2 years.
I think less, actually, but it's kind of
that is pretty brutal.
Terrible thing to say, but looks like he's just fading, and he's weaker every weaker.
Yeah,
and
they really don't want to put him out in front of the public all that much because they know how weak he looks. They know how bad he looks. He's the worst person we could possibly have gotten as president, I think. I don't know. Maybe Bernie Sanders would have been worse, or AOC or something like that. All right, this is ridiculous. Of course he's unfit for office. enough about this. Moving on. Next story.
Okay. That's actually, I think, my favorite. Dr. Seuss jumps 50,000% after ban.
Yeah, so this is kind of a cool story. So Dr. Seuss was banned. And there's a subsequent story. Do I have the subsequent story? No, that's another one. He was he was banned by, I guess, a teachers union or something like this. They said basically he's a racist and we can't celebrate him, even though like National Reading Day or whatever is based on his birthday, but we're still supposed to pretend that he's a horrible person and he's canceled and all this kind of stuff. And then the Biden administration canceled him too. The Biden administration said like National Reading Day or something is like no longer, we're not going to include Dr. Seuss anymore, even though kids for decades have loved him. Just an absolutely ridiculous cancellation of a figure who is beloved by children.
Doesn't look like cancellation.
Well, so this is the reaction, right? When you cancel people, he's a leftist as well. Dr. Seuss was a leftist. He was like I think he might have even been, I mean, he was like an anti-communist, but he was definitely like, in terms of being an American, he was definitely a Democrat his whole life. And he was definitely an anti-racist. And so these people who are trying to cancel him, I don't even think they know anything about him. They're just morons, you know? And so parents all over the country have been like, oh yeah, you know what? I grew up on Dr. Seuss. F these people. I'm going to buy Dr. Seuss for my kids. And I love that. I don't even like Dr. Seuss. When I was a kid, I thought the Dr. Seuss stuff was stupid. But you know what? I want a kid, and I want to buy Dr. Seuss now. Maybe I'll buy some for my nieces. I don't know. Let's see. Banned Dr. Seuss books spiked nearly $50,000 on Amazon sales, on the Amazon sales rankings chart. See, this is what happens. You stupid leftists. When you cancel somebody and it's this stupid, this is what we do. You just make them more famous. You just make them more popular. Sales of recently announced banned Dr. Seuss books spike on Amazon.com Tuesday after they were canceled by the left. Dr. Seuss's books were amongst the leading 17 of the top 50. Good Lord. Okay. I never learned to read, clearly.
Come on, man.
I should have read more Dr. Seuss when I was a kid. Dr. Seuss's books were among the leading 17 on the top 50 list of Amazon's movers and shakers on Tuesday morning after the ban was announced. The books, oh, good Lord. I'm not going to read these. Okay. McElliot's Pool, On Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Egg Super, and Think I Saw It on Mulberry Street, blah, 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 all these other ones, will no longer be published. Oh, maybe that's why. That must be why. Because they're saying we're not going to publish these anymore. So people were like, shoot, I got to buy these. No!
We have to buy it also, Chris.
These books portray people in a way that are hurtful and wrong, Dr. Seuss Enterprise told the Associated Press in a statement. But the sales rank of this one book in particular, and To Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street, was up almost 50,000% on the list, and it was ranked as number one.
50,000%. 50,000%.
Yeah, and Scrambled Eggs Supper, and is that Supper or Super? Scrambled Eggs Super? I've never heard of that book. And On Beyond Zebra were ranked number 3 and number 4. I don't actually remember those books as a kid. I didn't have those ones. A Virginia school district banned the author's books from their Read Across America program Monday. That's it. This is the Virginia school district. It wasn't a teachers union. But I think a teachers union did too. Dr. Seuss is now racist. Consider this... Oop, shoot. That was a mistake. Dr. Seuss is now racist. Consider this your woke cancel culture warning in the event your children are spotted with copies and or authorities find that you've read the stories to your children. Oh, I love Breitbart. President Joe Biden eliminated all mentions of Dr. Seuss in his proclamation to celebrate Read Across America Day, despite eager endorsements from the author by his predecessor, Barack Obama. Well, it's not really his predecessor, but okay. One of his predecessors, I guess. All right. In 2016, President Obama wrote, March 2nd is also the birthday of one of America's revered wordsmiths, Theodore Seuss Giselle, or Dr. Seuss. Maybe it's Giselle. I don't know. He used his incredible talent to instill in his most impressionable readers universal values that we all hold dear. And that's true. You know what? That's true. I love this. I love this so much. Screw you, cancel culture. We win again. All right. Anything to add? Did you read Dr. Seuss when you were in Russia? Your
No.
little Russian Dr. Seuss books?
No.
Well, obviously not, darling. I'm kind of making a joke there. Shall we move on to the next story?
Yep.
All right.
By the way, I don't see the article about Texas canceling mask mandates. Did you hear about that?
I did not hear about that.
Cancel mask mandates and all the businesses should open in
Can
Texas.
Can we? So wait, what
Move,
happened?
can we move to Texas? That's what you
Wait,
mean?
hold on. So wait, what are you saying? Like, they opened all the businesses, they ended all the mask mandates
Mask mandates
in
here. You
Texas?
can, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Maybe we should move to Texas. Where was I thinking? There is a story about a place we might move, but we'll get to that later.
Okay. So next one.
Let's go to the next one. Yeah.
Joy Reid.
Joy Reid.
Reid implies Tim Scott is a token.
Well, yeah. So here we go. So MSNBC's Joy Reid says Tim Scott was only present at a GOP press conference because of diversity, because we're all racist and we want people to think we're not. So let's go ahead and watch this, and let's see what you guys think about it. It's pretty funny.
This was his take on the minimum wage over the weekend.
The minimum wage is something that is particularly troubling and harmful at a time.
So they're
when
talking
you're
about the
trying
minimum
to
wage
get
here.
people
This is
back
Tim
to work.
Scott
I
over
worked for
on
less than the
one
minimum
side. We
wage.
don't have
I
to
worked
watch this
for
whole
the
press
minimum
conference. I
wage.
just
I
wanna
started
hear what Joy
bussing
Reid has to
tables
say
out the
about it.
quota that I just mentioned. That you're going to increase the amount of money that they have to pay their workers by over 50%. 50% increase.
You got to love the Tim Scott standing there to provide the patina of diversity over that round of words, that basket full of words. What do you make, Senator John?
Well, they could also say they put a mask with the American flag on him on purpose.
Yeah, how dare they represent the American flag like that? It's obviously just the patina of patriotism. I mean, they are unbelievable because the left uses, they trot out black people all the time as like, look how diverse we are, look how diverse that we are. But if Republicans do it, it's supposed to be disingenuous because we're all racists, right? That's what their thinking is. When Tim Scott, okay, look, I'll tell you something about Tim Scott. Tim Scott's not one of the most famous Republicans. He's not like a GOP superstar or anything like this, but he's more or less beloved. He's more or less beloved as a good man, and he's somebody that we all like and admire. And he's, I see him on the news from time to time, and I always like what he has to say. And he's a solid conservative, and this really is the difference between how conservatives think about race and how leftists think about race. Leftists think about race as like we've got these black people, right? So that these are all points for us. And you've got a few black people, which maybe is a few points for you, but you don't really like them, so we don't count them anyway. And it's like, guys, who the hell cares if they're black or white? What cares is if they share your principles, they share your ethics, they share your values. Tim Scott's a good man. That's why we like him. It's not because he's black. We could not care less if he's black. Honestly, if I'd seen that press conference, I wouldn't even have noticed. I know who Tim Scott is, so I just would have seen him and thought, okay, there's a Republican up there with the other guy. Like unconsciously, I don't even think it would have crossed my mind that, oh, one of our guys back there is black. Yes, we got a black guy in the shot. Republicans just don't think like that. I mean, I'm sure there are some Republicans who do think like that are very strategically minded, and they're trying to, indeed create some kind of a visual representation that indicates that we like diversity or something like that. I'm sure there are people in the Republican Party like that. Pretty much every Democrat is like that. I mean, pretty much every Democrat is like, we need representation. We need That's how you guys think, okay? Joy Reid. That is not how Republicans think. We do not care about that stuff. The vast majority of Republicans, I would say all of us, okay? If we have anybody who thinks like that, they're probably hired to come in and do some kind of staging of stuff, and they have nothing. They don't share our values if they're thinking about race that way. We don't care about race, you stupid woman. We don't care about that. You're an idiot, Joy Reid. You're an idiot. You can't perceive the way that Republicans think because you are a racist. You think in racial terms. Republicans think in terms of principles and values. That's how we think. That's how we think. except for Valeria. Valeria is a terrible person, and she hates everyone who's not Russian. That's not true at all. She's great. Valeria also a strong conservative, and I think she agrees with me. What do you say, darling?
Well, I think after what you just said, I just lost my job. Well,
That you were complaining about work. Come on, everybody complains about work a little bit.
no, you said I'm a Republican. You can't say this.
Oh
in
yeah,
Los
yeah. I can't say
Angeles.
Valeria's a conservative and she works in Hollywood. She'll get in trouble. All right. Well, that's all I have to say about that. I find these kinds of accusations incredibly infuriating and annoying, and I think that Joy Reid is a horrible person. But that's it for that story, I think, unless you have something to say.
No.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next one.
Trevor Noah admits it was foolish to praise Cuomo.
Yes, this is kind of a cool story, actually. This is one of the few times that I have ever had something nice to say about a leftist. And I actually went on and I defended Andrew Cuomo a couple days ago on the show.
Yeah,
and now
about
I'm going
the
to say
sexual
something nice
harassment?
about Trevor Noah. And I don't like Trevor Noah. I think Trevor Noah is a dick. That's what I think of Trevor Noah. And here's the reason I think that, okay? Because when the Covington High School thing came about, I mean, despite he always says nasty things about Trump, but that's sort of typical of a leftist in Hollywood. I don't really give him much. I don't really have a problem with Trevor Noah for that reason. What I don't like about Trevor, what really pissed me off about him, is what he said about the Covington kids. When they did that, when the Covington situation came about, he remarked about it after it was exposed as fake news, right? Because originally it was reported that these Covington boys had, been harassing this old Indian man, right?
Maybe old Indian man was harassing the boy.
Well, that's exactly what it was, right? So then it turned out, actually, the Indian guy was harassing the boys. The boys were just standing there minding their own business. He came up to them, started hitting this drum in their face. So everybody in the media was like, ooh, crap. We made a big mistake. Now, they wouldn't admit to making the mistake. They just said, well, he that boy, what was it, that chick from, I think it was ABC or NBC, I don't know, Savannah Guthrie. She goes,
wasn't it so, what did she say?
There's something
creepy, not creepy.
Not creepy. No. It was.
You know what
I think she said there's something aggressive about just standing there. Go ahead and do the impression. I want to see it. She said, "Isn't there something? I think the word she used was aggressive. Isn't there something aggressive about just standing there, standing your ground?"
Not aggressive. I don't think it was the word aggressive.
Well, whatever she said. Anyway, she's a horrible person, and she was sitting there trying to defend the media for inappropriately accusing this kid of harassing this guy, and sort of implying that they're racist, right? And the whole thing turned out to be a hoax. The whole thing turned out to be fake news, a big lie. And instead of taking ownership for making the mistake, everybody in the media was like defending themselves. No, we're awesome. So this guy, what's his name? Trevor Noah. So Trevor Noah comes out and he addresses this whole confrontation after having known everything. He didn't have to say anything. He could have just said, either completely ignored the topic, or he could have said, yeah, I mean, the media came out and they said something too soon and blah, blah, blah. And he did say all that stuff. But he also said this. He said, but did you see how smug that kid looked? He just looked so smug. And he said, I've heard a lot of people say, like, oh, I just wanted to punch that kid in the face. He looked so smug. And he kind of defended this as if this was okay. Like, it's okay to hate somebody because you don't like their facial expression when you're attacking them. This Indian guy goes up and he's smashing a drum in this guy's face. And because the media doesn't like the look of the kid's face, it's okay to punch him in the face? Like, what the hell's wrong with you people? It's a freaking teenager. So what if they have a hat on that you don't like, that you don't like the politics of, right? See, the problem is they're so delusional. They've associated Donald Trump with racism. They've associated these Donald Trump supporters with racism. And so now they believe that they're justified in saying that you should be able to punch Trump supporters in the face. They've gone completely mental, and they're still there. Even though Trump's out of office, they're still there. They're still in their sort of Trump derangement syndrome insanity. So that really pissed me off about Trevor Noah. But now I'm going to defend him because that's the kind of guy I am. So here, Trevor Noah mocks people who praised Andrew Cuomo last year after calling himself a Cuomo-sexual.
Homosexual.
But the funny thing is, he does recognize that he actually basically effed up, right? He basically effed up. So let's go ahead and watch this. I think this is pretty great.
And I'll tell you, man, all those people who praised Cuomo so highly last.
Sorry, I tend
That's
to watch
how
things.
you watch
I
YouTube
tend
videos.
to watch things in 2x, because I don't
Because
have enough
Chris
time. There's
does
not enough
have
time in the day.
for anything.
I don't have time. Oh, okay, let's play.
People who praised Cuomo so highly last year, whew, those people really don't look so smart now. Delete the tapes, delete the tapes, delete them all. I mean, it must be so embarrassing. Can you imagine if you're one of those people? Just burn them. I don't give a shit. Burn them.
So he's obviously making a joke here about how, you know, he was one of those people. He messed up, and I think that's a beautiful thing. You know what? If he's willing to own up to it, this is one of the very rare times I've seen a leftist own up to it. So Trevor Noah, I know you watch my show. No, of course he doesn't. Valerie just looked at me like, really?
For a second, I believed you.
I highly doubt he has any idea who I am. But anyway, yeah, Trevor Noah, I know you're watching. Good job. I mean, respect. You saw a mistake that you made and you owned up to it. Okay, let's go ahead and play what he actually said about Andrew Cuomo, which I think is actually quite funny. Let me just make sure I've got the audio on for this. Yes, I do. All right.
We are back with Trevor Noah. So do you watch, I know, and I also saw you talk about on the news that you can't watch the news that much because it's too depressing. You watch in the morning, you get a little recap at night, but you must be having to keep up with it for your show.
Yes, I keep up with information, but I think people must be careful about what they watch to, like, as news. You know, one thing that is an unfortunate byproduct of having 24-hour news in America is they'll always fill the news. And so I always warn people, I go like, be careful, something bad can be happening, but it's not the worst thing because we're helping people a little more informed.
Ridiculously silly and
which
have
is equally important.
Well,
Which
yeah,
is equally
I mean,
important.
yes, for sure. And I talked to Gavin Newsom, and I'm talking to people to help spread the
Who's
word
that
on some
guy?
things that are
Sorry.
important. And I know, you know, obviously that's mainly what
I
you
think
do.
it's a gag
so
for her show. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Sanders dropping out and endorsing Biden?
I think it's great to see.
Hold on,
your kids,
sorry, I've obviously
and then
missed the
when
spot.
your kid has a birthday party, I warn people, I go like, be careful not. Yes.
What have I done?
Something bad can be happening.
I've lost the spot.
Than having to
and
teach
if anybody
your kids things
deserves,
you don't. Trevor, you call yourself a Cuomo-sexual, and I agree with you. I feel like I'm a Cuomo-sexual too.
yeah, I think it's been really, it genuinely has been very inspiring and refreshing to see a leader like Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, who's come out and engaged his briefings in a non-political way. He's engaged them as a leader. He's engaged them as a human being. He's also taken blame for things where he says, look, I understand that I'm doing certain things that
so
people
balanced.
are going to hate me for, and I'm willing to make these decisions because I think it's the best thing for human life first. We can always create business afterwards. I think he's been informative. I think he's been informed. And like once I saw people online falling in love with him, there's a group of women who came out and they said, we're falling in love with Cuomo. And I said, well, yeah, everyone should be a Cuomo-sexual in that way. Like you should love a leader who engages the people and remembers that they're serving the people as opposed to, you know, the people working for them. So any leader who's doing that in a crisis, I applaud them.
The bar for leaders
Anyway, it's obviously just, you know, he's a delusional sycophant, right? He hates Trump, right? A lot of this has to do with Trump derangement syndrome.
Sure?
Yeah, it's a lot of this has to do with the fact that we want to contrast what Trump's doing with what Andrew Cuomo's doing. And the reports had been out at the time that he said this. The reports had been out about the nursing home situation and, you know, how bad Andrew Cuomo would actually F things up over there in New York. But the left didn't want to hear about it. The left didn't want to see it. They didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to think about it. You know, like they were doing this and they were doing this and they were doing this all at the same time. And, you know, he's out there talking about how great Cuomo is. It's like you wouldn't have had to make a joke about how you were so stupid a year ago if you just paid attention to what was happening. But the left doesn't want to watch Fox News. They want to read Breitbart. They don't want to read the New York Post. They don't want to read the opinion section of the Wall Street Journal. They don't want to think about these things that are happening in reality because they want to live in their leftist bubble, and this is the consequence of that. I mean, the problem that I see is there's no serious consequence. He just gets to make another joke, about a self-deprecating joke on his show. There's no actual consequence for pushing this false narrative. You get Cuomo, you get Biden elected president, legitimately or illegitimately, whatever.
Legitimately, just for YouTube monetization right
totally
here.
legitimately
Totally
elected president. And
I can't pronounce this word. Fair election.
Fairly. Because of people like him, partially at least, he's responsible for the Biden win in some small way. And he blocked that news. He pretended that wasn't real, and now it's all come out that it is real. And people like him look silly, but there's no real serious consequence, and it's a bit of a shame. And I do applaud him for taking responsibility for being wrong, for admitting that he was wrong. But I don't think that he would ever do that if the leftist media hadn't finally recognized that Cuomo had messed up. And actually, I don't even think he would have done it had this sexual harassment stuff come out. But sexual harassment stuff is so stupid, by the way. It's so stupid. Oh, Andrew Cuomo flirted with me and I didn't like it because he's ugly. Like, if Andrew Cuomo was a very good-looking guy, if he was like, young Brad Pitt, these girls wouldn't be complaining. All the stuff that he did was only sexual harassment because he's ugly. So I'll ask Valeria this. Valeria.
Yes.
If a very, very handsome man, say me, if you're single, right?
Okay.
Had out of the blue bought you flowers, would you think it was romantic or would you think it was creepy?
Romantic.
Now, if a very, very ugly guy out of the blue buys you flowers, like say that guy on the movie set that was irritating you today, would it be romantic or creepy? Your face says it all, I think. Your look of total disgust.
Well, it's not creepy.
Yeah.
But nice try, because he at least
Nice.
has some balls
Okay.
to buy me a flower.
See, we live in Beta, California, where guys don't even have the balls to make grand romantic gestures
No,
or
because
anything.
the problem is that guys are so scared
Yeah.
that flowers can be perceived
Yeah.
as a sexual harassment.
Well, that's my point.
Now everything perceived as sexual
Exactly.
harassment.
Right.
The wrong look.
See, the problem is I'm
You know?
asking somebody who's a little bit too sensible. I need to talk to a leftist girl
I'm
I
Russian. You're talking to the wrong girl.
Yeah, exactly. But I do think that there is a perception amongst women naturally to some degree that if a guy goes up to you and like puts his hand on your arm or something like that and you find him attractive, you'll be like, oh, that's nice. But if you put your hand on your arm and you think he's ugly, you'll be like, that's gross. Get away from me.
I don't like the word ugly.
What do you mean you don't like the word ugly? So there's no ugly people in the world?
There is people who I don't attracted to. And there's people who I'm attracted to by their look.
Okay, my God.
I don't like cold people.
Valeria,
ugly.
Valeria, let's step out of fantasy world into reality. There are ugly people. It happens. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the most, I would say, oppressed group of people. Not
Yes.
black, not Asians, not
Yes.
ISIS.
Yes, that's something that I've been saying for years. If black people say they got it bad, women say they got it bad, LGBT says they got it bad. You've only really got it bad, guys, if you're horribly ugly. That's the class of people who I feel sorry for. Because I went to school with some ugly people and
people treating you by your look first.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
First.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
And
then,
not everybody all the time, but a lot of people a lot of the time do treat people positively or negatively, at least at first when they first meet you, by how well dressed you are, by how handsome you are, by how beautiful you are, whatever it is. The visual aspect of people is very strong. People are motivated by that quite a bit. So it's just human nature. It's maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I don't know, but it is how it is.
Okay, I think we have to move on to the next.
We're
story.
okay. Yeah, we're
We
taking a
have
little bit
10
too much
minutes
time.
and we have 2 topics.
All right.
Okay.
Next topic. Let's go.
Biden bans reporters from child migrant detention facilities. Did I pronounce it wrong? Migrant?
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
no, migrant. That's right. Yeah.
I'm so awesome. Sorry, guys.
Biden administration will not allow reporters to tour migrant detention facilities.
Even like CNN, MSNBC,
No one. And they're saying it's because of COVID. You're not allowed in the migrant facilities. It's not because we don't want you to broadcast pictures of kids in cages. It's because of COVID. That's why. That's why. Nice excuse, Biden. Nice excuse. That's what we call total BS. That's what we call total BS. Let's see here. The Biden administration will not allow reporters to tour juvenile detention facilities now housing unaccompanied minors who came across the United States-Mexico border seeking asylum. Quote, reporters will not be allowed inside the Carrizo Springs facility for unaccompanied minors that was recently opened under the Obama... Fuck. I mean, darn. Sorry, I swore on a live broadcast. I've never done that before. That's a bit embarrassing. Okay.
So they're trying to
again,
like
win
some time to destroy cages. What are they trying to do?
No, they're basically they just don't want pictures up of
kids still being in cages.
Yeah, because they were so unbelievably critical of Trump. They were like, oh, Trump's so evil. He's putting kids in cages. He's putting kids in cages. Now they're realizing that they have to do the same thing because that's basically just how it works. You can't just bring in unaccompanied minors into the U.S. and just like let them go into the general population.
I think that's what they're gonna do. They don't have a choice.
They're trying to find families for them to live with.
They can send them back.
I need to have a split screen for when you and I are talking at the same time. I need to make one. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, look, the point is just this. The point is that it's a lot more nuanced and difficult a situation to handle responsibly than the Biden administration was admitting when Trump was dealing with it. You know, when Trump was dealing with it, he was just a racist and he was being mean to people and he was a horrible person. Now that Biden's doing it, it's like, oh, well, actually, this is a bit difficult and we have to be careful and it's nuanced and blah, 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 blah. And they ended up doing exactly what Trump did because they realized this is actually the most humane way to treat these kids. They didn't realize that until they had the responsibility of actually doing it. And now they realize. So I just think that's funny. I just think that that's very ironic that they're in this situation. We've covered it already on the show, but the fact that now they don't even let reporters in at all because they're like, oh, because of COVID, it's because of COVID. Such a lie. They're just doing that, they're just doing that for optics.
What do you mean lie?
It's a lie that the reason they don't want...
Chris.
Huh?
COVID is real.
No, I'm not saying COVID's not real. See, this is how they twist your words.
That's for YouTube monetization.
It's for YouTube
I have to do that.
This is how they get you guys. It's how they twist your words.
Yeah.
You say that it's a lie that the reason that they're not letting reporters into the facilities is because of COVID, and they go, "What do you mean COVID's not real?"
COVID's real.
All right. Shall we move on to the next story?
And the last story is Poland fights social media censorship. Poland. Oh,
Poland.
Interesting.
Poland. Yeah.
I'm 7% Polish.
Are you? I'm a bit Polish as well, actually. My
Really?
grandmother's mom, I think, something like that. She's Polish. She's from Poland. But I love this story. I love this story. So big tech companies may face millions in fines with Poland's new anti-censorship law. I love you, Poland. Where my Poles at? I don't know if there's anybody from Poland. Please make this show popular in Poland because we love you. You're our new favorite country outside the United States of America. All right. Big tech companies may face millions in fines. I already read that. Okay. They could face fines up to $13.5 million. Holy crap. All right. New legislation introduced in Poland would fine big tech companies up to $13.5 million if they illegally censored Polish citizens. Can we get Polish citizenship?
There's a first super chat. Comment on YouTube.
Whoa! We got a super chat, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want to read it or should we wait?
I think you should read it, darling. It's
It's
your
from-
show.
it's
Please read this
Dragon
first.
Ace 1992 is giving us
comment.
$5. What an awesome person. Yay, I finally caught you live, Mr. Reagan. Hi, Valeria. We love you, Dragon Ace. You're an awesome person. Okay. I don't know if you're a man or woman, but I think it's a dude. I don't think there's a lot of women who are like, dragons, yeah. Maybe some. Let's see here. Okay, Free Speech Council. A Free Speech Council will be set up by the government where users who feel that they were unfairly censored by big tech companies could appeal, and if the council found that the posts in question had had not broken any Polish law, then the company would be subject to a fine of 50 million zlotys. I don't know what that is.
Zlotys, it's the currency.
Zlotys. Equivalent
Zloty,
to
it's gold.
$13.5 million. Oh my God. Just for one violation, they could be. So that could be, I mean, that could be hundreds of millions or billions of dollars even, depending on how many violations. Oh my goodness.
So that's the thing you were telling me about. We have to move to Poland now.
Exactly. So the justice minister. Okay, who's this guy? All right. Okay, sorry. Deputy Justice Minister Sebastian Kaleta. Kaleta said that it was very disturbing that big tech companies saw themselves as empowered enough to ban President Trump when he was still in office, saying that it sent a message to the world that they could ban anyone whenever they wanted. Poland spent 45 years under communism, he added. It's taught us the value of free speech. Well, at least somebody knows the value of free speech. I think we need to give Poland a round of applause. You ready?
Yep.
Poland, we love you. You are awesome. You are too awesome. So,
There's another comment. Is it $4.99?
Lauren,
Chris, we're
Deguna,
killing you
I
today.
sent you pics of Jen Psaki being weird as F in your Twitter DMs. Oh, should we just play that on the show? Should I open up my Twitter? Let's see here.
Well, Chris, you get paid $4.99. You better to open your Twitter.
Yeah,
Oh, is that true? Oh my God.
That's pretty funny. I think that's funny.
You know, I noticed she does this when she's like, do this
I don't know
things
why
with
that's not
her
open.
mouth, and she also always touches her hair like 100 times in an hour. It's not a good sign when you like always like.
She's
you
like
know,
touching herself. She's gonna get
and
COVID.
did this.
She's gonna get COVID. Okay, so here's my thing about Poland, right? So I decided to look up Poland. So I wrote beautiful Poland. I didn't want to see the ugly bits. I'm sure there's some ugly bits of Poland as well, but oh my gosh, what a beautiful country.
Chris, if you will Google spring in Russia in English, it's gonna be beautiful pictures.
Well, yeah, but they're communists and they're lying.
If you're gonna Google spring in Russia in Russian, it's gonna be the most horrible
That's true.
dirt
Yeah,
roads,
that's true.
dark
You've shown me that.
sky, rain, mud everywhere.
That's funny.
It's
All right.
true. I checked it myself.
Well, so look at these castles. Look at this valley. I mean, that is unbelievable.
It's almost like Switzerland, no?
It's a little bit like Switzerland. I mean, I wouldn't mind living in Switzerland. And then look at this. Woman. What does this mean? Beautiful woman Poland. Let's click on that.
Hello.
Valeria. We're moving to Poland. Sorry. It's But look, come on. They look just like you. Look, it's like Valeria basically.
I told you I'm 7%.
With slightly lighter hair. You're 7% Polish. Well,
Yeah.
maybe this is why you're ridiculously beautiful woman. This is great. I think we gotta go Poland. I'm kidding, obviously. No, guys, I am not allowed to partake in the local cuisine here in Poland, but you are if you're single and you can't find a woman. I highly suggest moving to Poland. Wow, that's fantastic.
I like this comment. Super chat isn't keeping up to the $15 an hour minimum.
Yeah, what the
Wage,
heck?
yeah.
What the heck, YouTube? But anyway, so Valeria, I'm not saying we need to move to Poland. I am saying, though, if things become as authoritarian as I fear they might become, we might have to escape to Poland. But hey, not that bad, right? I mean, we could live in this castle. That would be nice. Or that one. I clicked on the wrong one, but we can live there too. Look at that. I would live there. Why not? I mean, some YouTubers have enough money for that.
Maybe
I think.
Polish woman are 80% Russian.
Yeah, maybe. Do we have another story, or is that it? I think we have one more, right? Yankee the Rebel. Yankee the Rebel. This is our writer. Sent us $10. You want to read the super chat?
Oh yeah, for Valeria, that's what she said.
That's what she said. All right, so why don't we get to the last story, darling?
Darling, that was the.
Oh, that is the last story. Oh,
Don't
Poland's the last
worry.
story. I wanted to end on that. Okay, well, that's great. All right, so from now on, we're just going to take questions. You don't have to send in a super chat, but it does make it a lot easier to see if you have something important to say or if you have an important question. But otherwise,
Okay.
we'll just read your regular questions.
There's a couple comments. I think it's on Facebook, and just a comment, not a question. Jeremian Winter says, "Man, I wish you would post more videos. Always enjoy watching your videos. I think you post way more videos because you have a second channel, you have your first channel."
Well, yeah, I mean, if you include the videos for this show, then yeah, I'm posting a lot. But on my Mr. Reagan channel, he's right. I haven't been posting a lot lately. But the reason for that...
you're doing a lot of research, that's why.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of research. I mean, Valeria can attest. I'm sitting there on the computer like 14 hours a day, like sitting there trying to read stories,
That's
watch
true.
videos, try to put things together, writing. But right now, I actually have a 3-part video that's going to come out, I think, starting tomorrow morning. I got a 3-part video that's going to come out. It might be the next day because it's such a long video to edit. I want to finish it before I cut it into 3 parts and put it out. But it's about Twitter censorship. It's a great video. It's going to be a great video. And I don't actually think I'm going to make much money on it because, well, there's a reason. But anyway, so that'll be cool. That's a really good video. I think that's really good. One thing that's really frustrating is that my last 3 videos have done really poorly. Like, they're 3 of the lowest performing videos that I've ever put out, and I don't even know why, because all the comments are really good. It's got like a 99, all of them have like a 99.6% like to dislike ratio, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know if YouTube's suppressing this stuff or if I just haven't made good enough thumbnails or what's going on. But yeah, for some reason my videos just aren't doing very well lately, and yeah, I don't know what that is. So maybe you're not getting notified. I don't know what's happening, but there was a little bit of a delay there because I was doing a lot of research for this, for a couple of the videos that I've put out recently. Some of them I haven't yet finished. But yeah, I'm in a push right now. I'm going to do, if you want to look at this, so this is, let's see here. Oh, I can't show you that. I don't have the ability to, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11. I have 11 Word files open at the moment. These are scripts that I'm writing. I was writing this script this morning, so I am always working. It just, sometimes it's a slow process. So sorry, guys.
Keith Hoyts, I think that's how you pronounce it, but I'm not sure. He is watching you from South Africa. He says, "Great show, watching from South Africa."
Okay, South
That's
Africa,
nice to know.
one of our favorite countries. We're definitely going to come visit at some point. I've never been there, but it's a tragedy what's happened in South Africa. It's a tragedy what's happened in South Africa. I am, a huge supporter of the South African farmers and everything that's going on there. I think you guys need to. I don't know what needs to happen in South Africa, but I think that somehow responsible people need to take over the government there because you guys have a terrible situation where there's a lot of people who are viciously, violently racist against white people in South Africa. It's a horrible situation. The rest of the world is just sort of like turning a blind eye to it because it's black people killing white people, but it's absolutely horrific. And yeah, South Africa. Thanks, man.
Okay. Binary Recoil.
Hold on, I want to read one.
Okay.
This is from J.R. Goal.
But it's my job.
G-O-L-L. Don't care. J.R. Goal writes, "Good job, Chris. Valeria is a star," is what he says. This is Valeria's reaction to that.
Oh, I also saw comment in the beginning. I like your wife accent. Oh, thank you guys. I hate my accent.
Every time, I'm not joking, every time I play back the videos, if I play it with the speaker on, Valeria closes her ears and starts screaming. Ah! It's hilarious. It's hilarious. She hates hearing her voice.
I don't know. I think it's annoying. I like kind of like high pitch and I have an accent and I don't say things correctly. I don't spell pronounce.
You can take
correctly.
you can take this out now.
Okay. So Binary Recoil, Chris, will you explain how badly you think things can go politically in the USA?
Oh, there are stories that we cover on this show and that I've covered on Mr. Reagan talking about exactly how bad it's getting. They've got a new, I think it's called HR 1. HR 1 is like the first bill that they're trying to pass in Congress right now. And it's going to basically destroy our ability to win elections from now on as Republicans. They're going to try to make D.C. a state. They're going to try to make Puerto Rico a state. They're going to try to... Hello.
Good morning.
They're going to try to give amnesty to a bunch of illegal immigrants. They're basically going to make it so that Republicans can't win any federal election ever again, ever. I mean, they're probably going to pack the Supreme Court so they have a majority leftist activist justices, so they can basically rewrite all the laws in America, rewrite the Constitution. I mean, they're going for broke right now. They're balls to the wall, as they say. They are. The Democrats don't care anymore. They don't care about doing the right thing. I think that at one point there was at least the pretense of trying to do the right thing amongst Democrats in the Democrat Party. They didn't want the American people to see that they were operating in a way that was unethical for political reasons. They do not care anymore. They will do whatever it takes to win elections, and they don't care how it looks because they know that the people who support them don't care. I think they also have a sense that it doesn't really matter what the vote is, that they can figure out a way to manipulate the vote so that they win. And so they don't really care that much about looking.
And they won.
Yeah. They still care about public perception to some degree, but they no longer believe that acting in a hyper-partisan political manner will make them look bad because they think that a lot of the people that like them want them to do that. So they're basically cheating. They're basically cheating. They're using every single thing that they can to make it so that Republicans never get in. It's becoming, if it was not rigged in the last election, which clearly it wasn't, it's going to be rigged from now on. We're never going to be able to win again, I don't think. That's my thought.
Okay. We have a new comment from David.
All right.
Thanks for the top-notch content, Mr. Reagan. Keep fighting the good fight. We support you 100%.
Believe it or not, I actually love hearing stuff like that. I know it seems like you're a YouTuber, you've been doing this for a couple of years, you hear that kind of stuff a lot. It's, you don't really think about it that much.
Nice.
Oh my God, I love that so much. And I'll tell you why. Because you do work hard in this job and you do care a lot. And the thing is, I know that there are, for every one of me, there are 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 strong conservatives, strong patriots out there who want to say what I'm saying, but they don't have the platform to do so. And so I feel this immense responsibility to do it. And it's kind of a weird philosophical thing. Like, how like everybody knows you're going to die, and so this is kind of morbid a little bit, but you do think about that. You do think about how one day this is going to be over, and you hope that you did something, right in the world, whether it's raising your kids right or supporting your wife or whatever it is that you feel like you need to do in the world. You want to do it right, and I feel that for whatever reason I've been called to do this and speak for a lot of people who don't have a platform to speak, and so I got to do it right, and I got to put out as much content as I can. And like when I'm trying to get views and I'm trying to get a bigger audience and that kind of stuff, a lot of times I think that people think of YouTubers and people online as people who are attention seekers or who want to make a quick buck, and it's not about that for me. I never really cared about fame. I never really had any money, so that's not that big of a deal to me. Although, having money is a lot nicer than not having money. I'll tell you that. But really, the main reason is because I think more people need to hear conservative messages, and I hope that I'm expressing, what other people think and not just myself. I hope it's what a lot of the people are thinking, and we need to push the culture in a way that's more responsible, that's more rational, that's more reasonable, that's fair for everybody, and increasing the well-being and the quality of life in everyone in a way that I think is compatible with the Christian values that made Western civilization so amazing and so great, and it's just the right way to live and the right way to be, for everyone. I think it's a bizarre thing that we live in a world in which Christianity is condemned as being evil and racist and horrible and all those sorts of things, when it's actually exactly the opposite. Christianity is the reason why Western civilization is anti-racist. It's the reason that Western civilization does respect poor people and does have a lot of sympathy for people that are not like ourselves, and it's the reason that women are so respected in our society. It's funny, actually. There was this I wanted to talk about this. There's this meme going around of one of the Jenner girls. Who's like the model one? Who's the model one?
What are you talking about?
The Jenners. The
Janitors?
The Jenners. Caitlyn, what are their names? Caitlyn Jenner is Bruce Jenner is the mom, the dad, the dad who transitioned.
Caitlyn.
How do you not know what I'm talking about?
The Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce Jenner's kids.
Kendall and Kylie Jenner.
Yeah, Kendall and Kylie Jenner. Right.
Yeah.
So Kendall Jenner is like a model, I guess. She does modeling.
She's a model, yeah.
And she posted a photo on Instagram that went viral, and it's kind of skimpy in a bikini type thing. And somebody posted a comparison, a picture of her and a picture of like a little girl who had completed the NASA training to become an astronaut, even though she was like a kid. And it says, this girl finished the NASA training. She's the first child to finish the NASA training. She's going to be one of the first people ever to go to Mars. She's possibly one of the first people that are going to go to Mars. And I guess there's some program for this or whatever. And they said this picture of Kendall Jenner went viral, but this picture of this little girl didn't. It's like our society values the wrong things, right? It's this whole big long post, this whole big thing. And I'm looking at it, I'm saying, and this, of course, this comparison of these two things went viral, right? Saying that we have the wrong priorities as a society. And I'm looking at this picture, I'm like, okay, this is obviously like some kind of feminist thing, like this little girl's achievements should be prioritized or whatever. But I'm like, you guys, the fact that this comparison of these two images also went viral indicates that we don't actually have the wrong values. The reason that picture of Kendall Jenner went viral is because, one, she looks hot in the picture, and two, she's famous. She's very, very famous. That little girl
she's famous since she was a child.
Yeah, and that picture of the little girl, she's not famous, okay?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Just started. Now
but it's not.
She's getting famous.
Yeah, it's not like there aren't female astronauts. Sally Ride, everybody knows Sally Ride's name. That's a famous name. There are famous females. It's not like we don't, value intelligent women. It's just that girl doesn't happen to be famous. Now, is that an important news story? Sure. And, I'm sure that a lot of people read that news story, and it was, I didn't see it in the news, but maybe I didn't catch it for whatever reason. I don't always watch the NASA news. I, read all those stories. But that's very cool that little girl was able to do that. But not every picture of every smart woman needs to go viral. I mean, it's a weird thing. Like, pictures going viral. Pictures are visual things, right? Of course, a picture of a beautiful woman is going to go viral before a random picture of a little girl in a NASA suit.
Isn't it kind of disturbing to compare a almost naked Kendall Jenner and a child?
And a child with an astronaut suit.
Complaining why the child is not more popular than Kendall Jenner?
Yeah, what are you trying to say, leftists? What are you trying to say? That, the little NASA girl's sexy too, damn it.
Okay, enough.
All right, enough
about this. Okay.
Next comment.
So there's another 2 super chat.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
Questions from
so
the
generous.
same girl. Her name is Savannah, and she's 18 years old, female college student. Love your content. And she also asked a question. I see it here. Chris, did you hear about Twitter getting canceled?
Well, first of all, 18-year-old female college student, love your content. Is that like a warning? Like Valeria? Better mind yourself, or else other options are available. Anyway, love the comment. What did she say? What is the question?
Chris, do you hear about Twitter getting canceled?
What do you mean Twitter getting canceled?
Did you hear anything about this?
I did not. I haven't heard anything about Twitter getting canceled. I appreciate that you like the content. I wish I had heard about Twitter getting canceled. I don't really know what that means. Like, are people just jumping off Twitter because Twitter is so biased? I could understand that.
Probably after Trump gets suspended.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people left Twitter. I mean, we did. We went on Parler, but then Parler got actually canceled, and we couldn't use it anymore. We're trying to get back on Parler. We can't. Somebody said you have to sign out and sign back in, or change your password or something like that. But we haven't gotten around to it. But
we're trying.
I would love to get. You're still trying, so we're gonna do it. We're gonna jump on Parler, but so far I'm still using Twitter. Sadly, old habits die hard, and I will switch to Parler, but haven't had time to really pay attention to that particular aspect of my life right now. What else do we have, Donnie?
I think we have to finish the show for today. Because we are being 15 minutes.
We're over 15 minutes.
Time, yeah.
We're over 15 minutes. Well, guys, we love you guys to death. Thank you again for watching the show. I think it was another successful episode of Toxic Masculinity. Remember, I'm toxic, she's masculine, and together we are Toxic Masculinity. You're not going to say it with me?
I was reading comments. Sorry. We can say it again.
No, that's okay. I'll just feel rejected here by myself on the other side of the
Don't
room.
be jealous.
Don't be jealous. You and your fans.
Your
All right.
fans.
Well, that's it for us, and I'll have another video for you, I think, tomorrow morning on Mr. Reagan's the Mr. Reagan channel, if not the day after.
Okay, I can't miss this one. Valeria, please ask Chris if he believes that America is Mr. Babylon of the Bible. Michael Tieran.
Oh no, I don't think that. I don't think Babylon. You mean like
Mr. Babylon of the Bible? Babylon?
mysterious Babylon? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Look, I don't think that America is like an evil place, or a legendarily bad place, or a place that was prophesied to exist. I don't think it's an evil place. I don't think it's a bad place. I think America's good deep down. I think we have good values. I think that we are currently in a very bad position, because I think America has mostly good people, and I think that the government is filled with mostly bad people, and I think that's a very bad combination. One more super chat.
One more super chat.
All right, let's do it.
Why don't you seriously consider running for office? Become the hero of Turth? Mighty Reagan man. Our political battlegrounds will only get worse unless more people like you and Trump break the mold.
Well, I'll tell you, Dragon Ace 1992. You're actually closer in age to Valeria than I am. You're 1992 and you're 1996. And I'm 1979. I'm an old man. Okay, look. I will eventually run for office, I think. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I do feel like if you are a public figure, you have good intentions, you can run for office. You can. I'm not really a guy who likes paperwork, and I don't like the kind of stuff that you have to do as like a congressman or a senator. I don't like that stuff. Now, granted, those people have assistants, they have lawyers and stuff like that. And if I did run for office, I would want to continue to do the show. Because I think the show is as important. I think every conservative who is a major voice in media is as important as every senator, every congressman, maybe even as important as the president in some cases. Like somebody like Tucker Carlson, so important, So I do think that the voices like my own out there in media are important. And if I were to run for Congress or the Senate or something like that, I would want to continue to do the show. I have thought about it. I will probably do it at some point. I don't know what office I'm going to run for or where or exactly what I'm going to do, but it will happen eventually, but probably not for another 10 years. I mean, I'm probably not going to run for office for a while. I like what I'm doing right now. I like what I'm doing right now, and I don't think I'm in a really good position to run for office. I mean, I suppose I could, but at some point I definitely will. But I mean, that is a goal. I do want to do that, but it's not because I want to be a senator, or I want to be a representative, or I want to be president or anything. I don't want to do any of that stuff. But I do feel like it's an important thing for good people who speak well and have good ideas to do that sort of thing. And so I do feel a responsibility to push toward that and to run for office at some point. You look like you're really excited to say something, Valeria. What is it?
I just see the comment, Carrie Ann. You got my vote, and Valeria will be a beautiful first lady.
Yeah, she actually she fantasizes about this a lot. Actually, she's like, when you become president, I'm gonna be just like Melania. I'm gonna wear like a different dress every day, and she's talking about how she's gonna dress up the White House for Christmas, and yeah, she's got good ideas about if I would ever run for president. I don't know if I'd ever run for president, maybe, but some kind of political office, maybe a governor of a state or mayor. I miss Oregon. I want to fix Oregon, but I don't know if I could ever get elected there. It's so leftist.
We'll see.
Being a representative or being a senator, being a part of the situation would probably be a good thing to do. Or maybe president. Who knows? When I'm in my 60s, we'll talk about the presidency. How about that? Is that a deal?
How about that?
How about
Cash me
that?
outside. How about that?
How about that? Cash me outside. Cash me outside. How about that? All right. Well, is that it? Are we good to go?
That's it. That's
All right.
just
Well,
it.
say goodnight, Valeria.
Good night.
All right. Good night, everybody. And remember,
I'm
it's not
toxic.
that our liberal... Huh? What? What were you going to say?
It's that our liberal friends are ignorant. Are you sure you want to say that?
I do. It's not that our liberal friends are ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so.